So this is a short video on how to use one of the most important tools to measure risk reward, the Fib extension. So this is the TradingView version. I'm going to just make a short video for each and put them all together. So I've got Nike on the daily, doesn't matter what it is. I've got some big daily zones here, as you can see. They're really strong support and resistance down below and here. But the main thing is how to measure this. So we've got some signals here, and how do we actually measure this tool? So tool on the left here, if we click down, we see Fib-based, trend-based Fib extension. So this is a 3-click process. Once we've identified where our stop is going to be for this short here, where our entry is going to be for the 6-star sell signal just here, we've got some points to click on. So the first click is on the stop. We then bring the cursor down to the entry, click for a second time, and then bring across and click for a third time at the same entry price. We then have our risk to reward of 1 to 1.6, the minimum, down to that support zone, which is good. But you may need to change these because the defaults aren't always there. You'll need to get rid of a lot of the ones like 0.382, 0.236. Just stick with the minimum first because that's 1 to 1.6. Put your 1 in there as well, just in case you're scalping and you're happy with a 1 to 1. And then 1 to 2, 1 to 4, that sort of thing. And just save that as a template. To do that down here, you can save as, if we look in templates, and you'll just put RR, and then whatever it is, 2023, something like that. Save that, so that's a template. With TradingView though, if you go to use that again, which we're going to do right now, it will remember the last one you used. So this one with a 5-star buy signal is this big candle here, okay? So we have the stop, click once, we have the entry, click the second time, move it across on the entry, click a third time. We can see here to resistance zone, we're less than 1 to 1. So that is our reason not to trade. Hopefully that helps. Let's go to another platform. So this is the NinjaTrader platform. This time I've got the roller coaster on there, and I've got the auto zones, the guardian zones on there. So we're going to take this long trade here. We get the signal just above the zone. Phenomenal. Hits that previous zone as well as support. The next sort of resistance zone's up here, so we need to measure that risk reward. So we go to the little pencil on the top. We need to look for Fibonacci extensions again. So we now got the little pencil on here. So again, 3-click operation. First on the stop, second on the entry, and then move it across to wherever you want to be. Click it again on the entry, and there you are. So this one's a little more, it's a little more cumbersome because it doesn't remember the last time you did it. It always comes with these standard, if you like. So what you can do, if you click on this little line here, then right click and then go to properties. So we're going to go down to, at the moment, there's 7 price levels there. So we don't want 0.236. We don't want 0.382. We need 50. We can change that to 100. There. We can change that one to 161%, and we can change that to 200. We need to have a bit of a play with the actual colors as well. I always have the same colors, so I have magenta at 200. Let's make that a thinner line at 4. 161, I have a bright green because that's my first, really, when I'm looking at that. Again, I'll put that at a width 4. 100, I always have as yellow, okay? And again 4, and then 50 I always have as blue, probably a little bit brighter blue there, cyan, and then again 4. So you have that. You click OK, and again template, click template, click save, and I've already got 2 in there, but I'm going to go risk to reward 2. Okay, save that and then click apply. So now you have your risk to reward, and you can see that we have a 1 to 2 up there. So that's a great looking risk to reward. So now if we go future and we look at this particular trade here. So again, for a short, we're going to click on the pencil. we're going to go to Fib extensions. This time the stop's all the way up above the pivot here. This is the entry. Second click, move it along again. Now we need to click on that little line, right click, properties, template, load, and the one we just did was risk reward 2. Click O and then click apply. That now gives us a risk to reward of 1 to 1. Okay, so with the roller coaster, and when we discuss this in future lessons, that 1 to 1 may be okay because it's quite an aggressive trailing stop. This one would be no good because we're going straight into there. But if you are very rigid and say to yourselves, I need fresh air of 1 to 1.6 minimum, that's no good. You don't take the trade. Let's go to another platform. Okay, so now ThinkorSwim. This time I'm just going to use a different indicator each time really. So we've got Elliott Wave on this one, and this is a stock on the daily time frame. So we've had a fifth wave move, but I just wanted to go through how we would measure that risk to reward, because we have a target with the Elliott Wave, and that's this fifth wave target zone here. So we have resistance up at this wave 4, which is important for the return leg. But how do we measure this? Again, we're looking for the fib extension. So we go down to the little hand down at the bottom right, and then the tools come up. We see these percentage signs here. That's fib retracement on the left. On the right is fib extensions. Click on that. The next thing we do the same thing. It's a 3-click operation. So we click above the wave 4, which is also the stop for this roller coaster. And because I've printed the roller coaster as well, I'm actually going to use that as the entry for the fifth wave move. More conservative, but you know, pretty good. With my target of that fifth wave target zone. Click for the second time, and then we just move along a little bit. Click for the third time, and we can see there's a minimum risk reward of 1 to 1.6 into that fifth wave target zone. Phenomenal, great, good looking trade. Take it. The next thing I just want to do is just click on, if I just click off that and go onto the little hand, click on the fib itself, right click, edit properties. So this is where on ThinkorSwim you can edit those properties. You just check off which ones you want or what colors you want. You see here at the moment we've got 1.6 is magenta. So we're going to move that to green, and then we're going to put 2 to magenta, pink. Okay, and 1 is yellow. We click OK. We can save as default again. So just the only thing we ThinkorSwim, once you've saved that as default, that is your default one. You can't have a list like the other ones. Click OK. So this is what we have now. So if I just actually remove that and then look at this resulting reversal, if you like, with the roller coaster. So again, click on the hand, go to fib extensions. We're going to 3-click operation again, click on where the stop is for the roller coaster, where the entry is here, and click again. So third time. So that's it done. And then we can see we've got a 1 to 2 up to that previous wave 4 pivot. Now, we also must take into consideration when we're doing Elliott Wave, just a quick note here that this third wave pivot may cause a bit of an issue. So, you know, with the roller coaster, we do print those trading stops reasonably quickly. But again, that's the operation of how to find that risk to reward. Let's go to another platform. So this is TradeStation. I'm going to be looking at 2 different ones here. We have the Gartley pattern here with the auto harmonics. And then we're going to be looking at this short on the xBrat algo. So first of all, let me zoom in so we can see them both. So the first thing to recognize with the auto harmonics, it actually does the risk reward for you. There's your targets. There's your 1 to 1.6, that A pivot. So we have got a decent risk to reward to that A pivot. It's only 1 to 1 to the C pivot, so a little bit careful there. But we have got fresh air. So it works it out for you, which is pretty cool. The next thing we're going to look at really is this xBrat algo down, because we know this A pivot will at some stage act as support or resistance, and we've got this major one down here. If we just adjust that slightly to take in the B and the D pivot again, okay? So again, let's zoom in to this portion here. So we got it really big. So now, again, we're going to look at the risk reward. We're going to look at that tool, the fib extension. Now, it's not down on the left as standard, so you need to go to drawings, click the down arrow and look for fib extension lines. There's the tool. So probably take the 5-star sell signal here. We've got to look back at either this pivot or even this pivot here. So let's go back and be very conservative here on this pivot for the stop. So click on there, bring it down to the low of the 5-star sell signal candle, click second time and then click a third time. And like ThinkorSwim, you've got to do some changes here. So you'll see that this this line is got dots on it, so you can actually click on that, edit the Fibonacci price extension lines. So when you're looking at this on settings, we need to get rid of the 0.382. We need to change 61.8 to 50. Let's make that bright blue again. We're going to change 100 to yellow. We don't need the 1382. We need the 1.618 in very bright green. And then we can shove 200 on there in pink. And then set as default. Click OK, and you'll see it changes. So we've got a decent risk reward there to this previous pivot from that harmonic pattern of 1 to 2. Great trade, looks good, worked out. Okay, very, very simple. So that's a TradeStation version. Let's have a look at another platform. So this is the last platform I'm going to do, and I actually wanted to use this as a good example. So this is the MotiveWave platform. So at this stage, we get a 5 and a 6-star sell just before this previous support zone here. So we, with an entry strategy for this, you've got to go below this support zone, and that's where the next support zone is down there. So you've got to have enough risk reward to actually trade this gap with a sensible stop just above this recent pivot, as we got the clustering here to go down on these signals. So first thing you've got to do is go to the little sort of spanner and screwdriver thing, Claire, to open up the toolbar. And what you want is Fibonacci. But in this case, remember, we want the 3-click. It's not called extension on MotiveWave, it's called expansion. So when you grab that, bring it across, just drop it on the chart, and then we can start to adjust. So the first thing you want to do is move the stop up above where you want to be. Then we're going to bring the entry down, and then we're going to, that 3rd click, like on the others, you bring it down level with the entry. The entry should be a little bit higher. So we have the initial there, but we have all of these different zones on, so we don't really want all of those. We just want our normal ones that we want. So what you can do is, if you double click on there, it opens them all up. Now, I have already saved the default, but I'll go through this process again. So let's get rid of the 382, 786, all the ones we don't want. Just get rid of them all. Leave the 50, leave the 100, leave the 161, leave the 200, and that's it. There's no colors on this. So to save as template, click there, save as, and then go risk to reward. And then obviously I've already done one, so that's risk to reward 1, save as, and then apply. So then you can see it just tidies it up. It's a lot cleaner. We have a risk to reward of 1 to 1.6, into that support zone. So that's a decent trade by being conservative. Looking at this previous zone, which is not just tested there, it's tested here as well. So this is a really strong zone, and we're looking to get in down below that. Even though the signal candles normally would get us in, just below the low of this 6-star candle, but we don't short into support. Sensible stop, sensible entry below the support still gives us a risk reward, so we go for it. Very, very simple. Hopefully that helps. Covered most of the major platforms with different types of entry with the support and resistance zones, and just gone through how to get that risk to reward onto your chart and how to save it as a template.